What's good, Wizards fans, and welcome to the Locked On Wizards podcast. It's your host, the real Ed Oliver. Just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Bet Online where the game starts. All right, so today we're going to continue our position preview. We are transitioning to the wings. There's a lot of wings on the roster. You got Rui, you got Kuz, you got Denny, you got Anthony Gill, you got Isaiah Todd. You can group Will Barton into the wing position as well. So we're just going to go over today. We're just going to do Rui and Denny, the two young guys, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Isaiah Todd towards the end of the episode. This is just saying, minute distribution. Talking about the contract situation for guys. And what we're looking forward to, position battles somewhat as well going into pre-training camp. So I know they're having their player-driven mini camp or training camp in LA right now. We're just going to look into, how do I see the minutes being distributed? How are they going to battle for minutes? How everybody's going to fit at each position. Already did the shooting guards, already did the centers. What I'm looking forward to this season from those guys. So we're going to start off with Rui. Quickly touch on or talk about Denny. He will be playing Israel will be playing September the 2nd to the 8th is from what I'm hearing. I definitely, no pun intended, will be locked in trying to watch that any way I can, whether it's highlights or having to pay for a website to watch. I'm gonna try my best to watch and just see what Denny's doing over the summer. He didn't play in summer league, so I'm just intrigued to see him. What he's working on, what he's gotten better at, what he's improved on. Sometimes you can't really measure it from, FIBA games or, games against Auburn or whoever, but you can kind of see what works and what doesn't work. Like with Kristaps, I'm very high on those games because this is stuff that he's able to do in the NBA game that we've seen him do before. And he's looking, just how healthy he looks is very encouraging for me, how healthy Kristaps looks and it looked in those games. He looked really spry, really healthy. He was moving really, really well. So that's why I'm really optimistic on Porzingis and very high on him right now going into the season just from watching those two games. I know Denny didn't have his best game against Sweden, had 5 turnovers, 1 assist. I did watch, he took it to the basket, wasn't able to finish. But the 3-point shot looked good. So first I'm going to start off about on Rui. So looking at his stats from Basketball Reference, he kind of had some career lows. He's only been in the league for 3 years, and then, you can't forget that he missed 40 games last year. He played 42 games this past season, had 13 starts. Didn't really start until towards the end of the year. Came off the bench. There was a log jam. A couple guys got traded. Then he started to play more when, Kuzma sat. Same thing with Denny. So this year, he averaged 11 points a game, 1 assist, career low in assists, career low in points, 3.2 rebounds per game. Usually averages around 4 boards a game. I do want to see him rebound the ball better. I think he's definitely capable of doing that. 6'8", 230 pounds, and he's athletic. He definitely should be rebounding the ball more. His rookie season was his best rebounding season with 6 boards a game. Shot 69% from the free throw line, but his 3-point percentage skyrocketed. 69% from the free throw line. 1 free throw attempt per game. I think he can definitely get to the free throw line more than that. 51% from the field for 2-pointers. Which he's really good at finishing around the rim. He was in the 98th percentile at finishing around the rim with shot attempts around the rim. 44% from the 3. His rookie year, he shot 28% from the 3. Then his sophomore year, 32% from the 3. And then this past year, 44% from the 3. And the 3-point attempts did go up with 3-point attempts per game, which is not high volume, but that's a pretty big jump. His rookie season going from 1.8 to 2.9, basically going from 2 3-pointers attempted to 3 3-pointers attempted. And that's something that we saw him working on. If you saw like little clips on Twitter when he had that long process of them integrating him back where he was playing 3-on-3 and whatnot. The Wizards had, kind of a methodical process in bringing him back, getting him back in game shape, because not only did Rui come back to the facility, but even after that, they slowly brought him back. They slowly brought him back in the process to get him in game shape, to get him ready for games. So that took a little bit too. But you could just see the form and the arc on the shot got better. He didn't take many dribbles. 40%, a lot of 117 of 123 of his 3-pointers this year He did not dribble the basketball. So that's the definition of 3-and-D right there. Just being a 3-and-D shooter, basically a pick and pop guy. He was really good at that. It was more of a set shot, which he was really good at doing that too. But that's the modern NBA, and that's something that he definitely improved on. So per Basketball Index, the 2022 gold pick and popper badges, Rui Hachimura was on that list. Bobby Portis is on that list. Christian Wood, Jalen Smith, who went to Maryland, plays for the Pacers. Joel Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns, Kessler Edwards, Kevin Love, LaMarcus Aldridge, Mike Muscala, PJ Washington, and Rui Hachimura. Eric Pascal's on the list too. So that just shows you that Rui was a really good pick and popper. He's a guy that can space the floor for sure. So I really like that about that. He added that to his game. He improved on that. Minutes per game, he got a career low in minutes per game. Of course, him just coming back right before the trade deadline when Thomas Bryant was, getting playing time. Montrez was still on the roster. We just had a full roster on the time. We just had a log jam and guys fighting for minutes and whatnot. 22 minutes per game, a career low, 13 starts, a career low, and 42 games played, a career low. Now, his rookie year, he had the groin injury, so he missed games with that. And then 2021, I know he had a couple injuries here and there. He played 57 games out of 72 games that season. So he has missed time each year. And this is a contract year for Rui Hachimura. It is a contract year for Rui. Looking at Spot Rack, this year he is slated to make $6,263,000 $6,263,000 and $188 million. He, in this offseason, after the season is done, he will have a qualifying offer of $8,486,620. Now, personally, depending on how this year goes, I think, he'll be a restricted free agent after this year in 2023. The Wizards can match that offer. Are they going to do that? I think he's going to make more than $8 million. You look at Kuzma's contract; he's getting like paid $13 million a year. That's something around like a 3-year, $40 million deal. You look at what Daniel Gafford's getting, but you kind of look at what forwards are getting: 3s and 4s, wings that can play multiple positions. Rui can play the 3 and the 4. Sometimes he can play a small ball 5, just a little bit here and there. An athletic guy that can finish around the rim. I would say around that range of $13 million. But he has to have a big year this year. He has to stay healthy. He has to be there from start to finish. Improve defensively for sure. But I do want to read a couple more numbers that I really liked about Rui, and who's going to be fighting for that spot. How many times does he usually play small forward or power forward? But before we do get to that, this episode is brought to you by Bet Online. A lot of bets to be placed, man. NFL season starting. I can't wait. Let's go Commanders, man. I'm hyped for the season. So betonline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check on all your betting needs. Find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports wagering information, from live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts. They have you covered. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts. So also there was a report, Quentin Mayo said that Rui Hachimura has really impressed in the training camp that the Wizards players are doing in LA, that he's really impressed. He's really looked good. You don't want to take too much stock in off-season workouts, but you see the potential. I think out of the 3 young guys, which we discussed a lot, Corey, Denny, Rui, Gaff, all the young guys, you want to group them together. Johnny Davis, you want to throw him in the mix too. Rui has done the most. He's established the most. He's the most polished. I think he's the best scorer, and he's the best self-creator out of all those guys. I think he's a guy that you can give the ball to on the block or in the mid-range or in the post, and he'll score. He can get you a bucket. He's knocking down the 3 at a high clip now. I just think he's the most polished guy. But, he's a free agent coming up this year. He has to rebound the ball. He has to pass the ball better as a playmaker. He has to move his feet defensively. Now, the stats that bode well for him: 98th percentile at the rim this past season. 46% of his rim attempts were unassisted. So that shows off his shot creation. He doesn't need an assist to score. He doesn't need somebody to really set him up to score. He can score off the dribble. He can score on his own. That's why I really like Rui a lot, because he's a guy that can create offense for himself. He can start cooking. You can put him on an island. You can put him in isolation situations, and he's able to score. That's what I really like about Rui. He's got to consistently be aggressive and have that dog in him. The dunk on Tobias Harris, the dunk on the big man from the Pistons. I don't know why he's slipping my name. The guy who chased after LeBron. I like Isaiah Stewart a lot, dunking on him. Tobias Harris, Anthony Davis. We've seen this stuff before. We just have to see it more consistently. And then about the defense was somewhat confusing for me because he defended well in 2021. This is a stat I found. Elite ISO defenders in 2021, that season by the numbers. He was grouped with OG Anunoby from the Raptors, Larry Nance from Cleveland, and Jamal Murray from Denver. Rui was in the 88th percentile in ISO defensive situations, where he only gave up 0.61 points per possession and gave up a 29.2 effective field goal percentage defensively in isolation situations. You know, the game where he was guarding Anthony Davis, where we blew them out on the ESPN game where he dunked on Anthony Davis. He did a really good job defensively. And I really love the game against the Sixers in the playoffs where he had 20 points and 13 boards. Now, for the camp battles or position battles, he played power forward. I'm going to pull this up from Basketball Reference as well. You know, the positions that he played. And it is positionless basketball. So you got to look at it that way too. But Rui, his rookie year, he played 22% at the small forward position, 77% at the power forward position. And then looking at his sophomore year, 27% at the small forward position, 71% at the power forward position, 2% at the center position. Then this past season, 19% at the small forward position, 77% at the power forward position, 5% at the center position. Now, you think about it this way too, him missing those games, it gave Kyle Kuzma an opportunity to pass him on the depth chart. You look at the depth chart right now, it's Kuz, Rui, then after that is Isaiah Todd. Then at the small forward position is Will Barton starting, or in my opinion, just looking at through West Unseld Jr.'s eyes or his, you know, through his glasses, so to speak. Then Denny's that third guy. So Rui is going to be battling with Kuzma for that starting power forward position, but it's all about who finishes the game. I have Kuzma starting. I think he's earned that spot to start. Rui's going to be coming off the bench. Now, looking at the minutes as well, how many minutes do I think Rui's going to get this season? He averaged 22.5 minutes per game. I would say around that too, because Kuz is gonna get about 30, 35 minutes. He's gonna play a lot of minutes this year, as he did last year. Will Barton's gonna play a lot too at that small forward position. So where's Rui's minutes gonna come off off the bench? You know, he can be a microwave scorer off the bench, going up against second units where he can take advantage of mismatches, pick and roll, where he can get a small guy, a point guard on him on the post. I remember the Magic game, he had a solid game where he just really took advantage of that mismatch against Cole Anthony, and every time he's got to do that. So homework for him is definitely moving his feet on defense. I want to see him rebound the ball better. He needs to average more than 6 boards if he's able to earn those minutes, more than just 5 rebounds. Shooting off the dribble, if it's just stationary threes, I'm fine with that. You know, I'm fine with if he's able to shoot 35% again or 44%. I don't see that happening, but if he can shoot around 38% from the three, I'm certainly fine with that. Passing, playmaking, defense. Free throw percentage definitely has to get up. I want to see him get to the free throw line more and shoot better from the free throw line too. 69% from the free throw line. He's a better free throw shooter than that. Rookie season shot 82% from the free throw line. Sophomore year shot 77% from the free throw line. So he's a better free throw shooter than that for sure. So it's a contract year for Rui. I'm intrigued to see how this year ends up for him. I'm intrigued to see him starting off healthy, mentally and physically, and being ready for the start of the season. I'm excited for that. But yes, he's going to be battling for minutes at that power forward spot, somewhat of the small forward spot. You know, we'll see how training camp shakes out or how lineup shakes out. Could he be playing small forward? Can him and Kuz play together? Kuz, and Denny play really, really well together, and they've talked about that together. Kuz said that in press conferences too, like, hey, we play really well together. I want us to play well together. I mean, I would like to see more lineups, and there's plus minus stats that show their offensive rating was really, really good together. The Nets game, right before the All-Star game, Kuz, Rui, and Denny, they just fed off each other, and they would be long wings with long wingspans of the modern NBA. You look at the Celtics with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I'm not comparing, but you just look at the wingspan of these guys, 6'8", 6'9", all playing well together, being disruptive defensively and disruptive on the offensive end. All athletic guys that can move their feet. So I'll transition to Denny really quickly here, or I'll go to Isaiah Todd. So I'll bring up his summer league numbers. Now, in the G League, he averaged about 12.3 boards a game. I mean, not 12.3. He averaged about 12.3 points per game. Now, in the summer league, It was a little underwhelming. 5 games played, 24 minutes a game, 9 points a game. I thought he showed some flashes and played pretty well here and there. But you can see the playing strength. He needs to work on that. The playmaking, some tunnel vision here and there. He definitely needs to work on that. Rebounding needs to work on that. But I like the athleticism. I don't see him getting much playing time this year. But I see the G League and some development for him. I see, this year in the G League, we'll see how that works out. He works with Rasheed Wallace. I compare him to Rashad Lewis. I think he's that kind of 3 stretch 4 kind of guy. You look at some of the numbers here. Isaiah Todd, just pulling it up. He shot 30% from the 3-point line, 34% from the field, about 3 for 9 each game. Had a couple of highlight dunks here and there. But he's a guy, he just has to get used to the physicality of the game. 50% from the free throw line, didn't get to the free throw line much. I thought the last game was where he showed his potential and his flashes for sure. 3.4 boards per game. I don't see him getting much playing time at all, but I think this year could be another learning experience for him. And then year 3, I kind of compare him to Chris McCullough. That's what he reminds me of in Devin Robinson. But next episode, we're going to get to Denny and Kuzma and just talk about their contract situations and previewing where they're going to get their minutes from. Of course, we know Kuz is going to start, where Denny fits in, where we want to see them improve, and just previewing them at that wing position. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Now, for your second listen, I just want you to check out Ultimate Pro Football Preview. Now, for your second listen, go check out the Ultimate Pro Football Preview 2022, an 8-episode extravaganza to get you ready for the NFL season. The local team experts of the Locked On Podcast Network and Odyssey NFL Insiders all combining into one Ultimate NFL Preview. Search for Ultimate Pro Football Preview 2022 on your Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Hail to the Wizards.